San Bernardino County residents living in 1938 had no idea that a major flood was about to strike their county. All they knew was the life that they were living, the nice house that they had, the beautiful buildings that surrounded them. But what they soon found out was that their homes, and their lives in many ways, would be ruined. And as a result, they would have to rebuild those homes and rebuild their lives. The flood that struck San Bernardino County in 1938 was one of the most devastating natural disasters to ever occur in the county, as the Santa Ana River laid out one of its most destructive outbursts in quite some time. Edward Hyatt, chief of the State Department of Water Resources at the time, estimated in a report that he gave that the flow of the Santa Ana River reached 45,000 second feet. As you can imagine, just about anything and everything that was in the flood's path was destroyed or severely damaged, as rain fell at 4.8 inches an hour. Damages were estimated between $12 and $15 million in the county alone, making this flood the most damaging to the county to that date. And the estimated damage throughout Southern California as a result of this flood was put at a whopping $78,602,000, making it the second greatest of historical record, with the greatest being the flood that occurred in January of 1862. Unfortunately, the 1938 flood took people out along the way, as there were 14 known deaths of San Bernardino County residents, and according to Harold C. Troxell, who reported on this flood, as many as 87 people lost their lives throughout Southern California. Now, who better to discuss the flood of 1938 than an actual flood survivor living in San Bernardino at the time that the flood struck? Here is 91-year-old Brian Elliker.
I was 17 and the 38 flood weather was and I were isolated 3 days.
Did your house survive the flood?
Yes.
Were you guys forced to evacuate at all?
No. Big wash was Lido Creek and Santa Ana, and washed out railroad tracks in Cajon, and took Fontana and Rilo and Dover and Lake Arrowhead and Highland. The only kids that I know were killed.
Were those your friends?
No, high school.
What high school did you go to?
San Bernardino.
Was it the worst natural disaster you've experienced?
At the time.
My name is Mike Fox. I'm actually retired from the Flood Control District last year. I was the Chief of Water Resources Division here for nearly 20 years. I first started working in the Flood Control District in 1977. The Flood Control District was set up after the 1938 flood, and so after a big flood event came, then there was a need to provide some flood control, and having a flood control district that provided the same service to the whole county was, the need was really seen for that. So the Board of Supervisors went to the state and had the district was formed. Our main goal is to provide flood protection and water conservation.
What is the main goals behind the flood control zones that were set up around the county?
The main thing about that is the county is very large, as you know, and it's the revenues that are generated in the county for the tax revenues will be spent in the zones that they're generated in. That was the main reason for doing it. So the highly populated areas that need more flood protection will have more income to do that. If you don't have the population, you really don't need as much flood protection. That's the logic behind it.
The flood control district developed a system of channels, levees, basins, dams, and water spreading facilities valued in excess of $1 billion at today's construction costs. All of this has been done in an effort to prevent any future flood from causing the kind of destruction and devastation that San Bernardino County residents experienced in 1938.